Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Her Business, Her Story. I am so excited to introduce today's guest, Janice Kenyatta. And let me tell you a little bit about her. She's an educator, an author, a creator, and fearless trailblazer who has dedicated over 40 years in empowering others through knowledge. She is also the founder of Janice Kenyatta LLC, where she continues to inspire through her books, creations, and mentorship. Let's welcome Janice. Janice, welcome. Welcome,
Thank
welcome.
thank you. Thank you so much, Robin.
Awesome. You've had an incredible career in education. So, what inspired you to take your experience and create your own business, Janice Kenyatta LLC?
Well, yeah, as you mentioned, I am an educator and I have been in education for 40 years, or had been until I retired. And then I became an author of sorts. I had already written a book years ago, which we'll talk about later, but I became a full blown author, if you will. And so I just needed, I thought about, when I thought about having my own business, I wanted something to ground me, to um, that sort of spoke to my passion and my purpose for writing and creating. Why was I writing and why was I being a creative? And so I think just having that foundation of a business sort of
Mm-hmm.
grounded me, which it did. And that's why I ended up deciding to open up my own business at the
Mm-hmm.
ripe old age of 69 years old.
Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. That is awesome. Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness. So, what gap or need do you see that you made? I would say, what gap or need did you see that made you step into entrepreneurship? What did you see that inspired you to do that?
Well, specifically, sort of piggybacking on what I just said a few seconds ago, I wanted to be a role model for women, specifically women in my age category, because you'll find a lot of women like me who are retired. They say to themselves, "Well, now what is there left for me to do?" Now, I've heard women say that. What am I going to do now? I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
have my 9 to 5. You know, my kids are grown out of the house. I don't want a dog. I don't want a pet. What am I going to do? So for my own specific situation, because I started writing these books, I thought, this would be a great way to inspire or encourage other women in my age category that if you want to do something, you can do it despite whatever age you are.
Yeah.
If you see it in your mind and you dream it, you can achieve it. So essentially, I just wanted to be a good role model at this particular age for women in this category.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And I think we need more of that because some people do reach that age and sometimes they might feel a little useless or
Yeah.
they don't know. And some of them go back to work, because they get
Oh,
bored or whatever
yeah.
the case may be. So that's good. That's absolutely
Yeah.
awesome. So, as a woman who has broken barriers in leadership and now runs her own business, what unique challenges have you faced as a woman entrepreneur?
I think I would identify two unique challenges to going in business at this age. One is social media. Just wrapping
Mm,
my mind around social media because, for many years I was a business teacher and I did teach on computers. I'm very computer literate and I can learn programs and that kind of stuff really fast. But social media is another animal. And I
yeah.
found that in this business, when you own your own business, when you're an entrepreneur, it is crucial in this day and age to have a presence, I should say, on social media. All of them, whether it's TikTok, which is all the rage right now, whether
Yeah.
it's Facebook, Instagram, all of those threads. And so I find that I struggle a little bit with how to navigate.
Yeah.
So that brings
Mm.
me. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say. So that brings me to the second issue, barrier, which they're tied together. When if you can't do it yourself, that takes time. If you decide to figure out social media, how to expand your presence on social media, you can sit down and figure it out, but it's going to take you forever. But then that brings you to the monetary issue. Now you have to pay someone.
Yeah.
So that brings you to finances and more money coming out of your pocket to have someone manage your social media for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that is a challenge. Definitely for older ones, maybe with limited funds, but they have this dream that they really want to pursue. But even for other businesses in general, just understanding that you don't have to do everything. And
That's
you
right.
do have to get some help. And it's okay to get help in an expertise area where maybe you're not that good at. It's
Absolutely.
okay. It's okay. So I
Absolutely.
can feel that for sure. So, what advantages or strengths do you feel women bring to business ownership? What's unique you think that women actually
Women, yeah,
bring to
women
business?
specifically, right?
Yes, women. Yes.
Attention to detail.
Yeah.
Some men would call it nosy, but I call it attention to detail.
Yeah.
Women have a tendency to see the big picture and to pay attention to certain details. I think we have that innate ability
Mm-hmm.
to pay attention to detail, and that's very important when you're running your own business. There are a lot of details that you have to pay attention to, especially if you're a sole proprietor. If you this is
Yes.
running this by yourself, so now it's just you, and you need to have some sort of organizational process in place to pay attention to detail, things that
Mhm.
need to be addressed. So that
Right.
that is one. The other one for me, I think a strength is that we also have the innate ability to multitask, because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of women come from marriages or are married. They manage their children's lives,
Right.
their husbands' lives, their dog,
Yeah.
whatever it is. They have full blown careers, and so
Yes.
we have that innate ability. Single moms who it's just themselves, they do everything. So I
Yeah.
think that's a real strength that women bring to entrepreneurship. The fact that we do pay attention to detail and the fact that we can multitask.
Yeah, and that's so true because we're doing it all, aren't we? You know, and,
Absolutely.
and and nobody's trying to be superwoman, but that's just the way it is.
That,
That's
that's,
just the
just,
way it
that's
is.
just the
You're
way it
trying to
is.
get it all
Absolutely.
done, and I do think that's important because um, when you're starting off as an entrepreneur, it's just one person,
Yes.
and so you may find yourself also doing marketing, doing accounting, doing a little social media, you
Yes.
know. So
Yes.
you learn to master all those things, but at the same time, understand it's okay to delegate. It's okay to give some of that power away. And I think that's one thing that women don't mind doing more so
That
than
no,
men.
absolutely not. In fact, I have heard, I have had in the 4 years that I've had my own business, I've heard people say to me, "You need to clone yourself." Well, how do I do that? Explain to me
Yeah,
how do I clone myself. But I
yeah,
understand what you're talking about, because it is almost sometimes impossible to do everything on one given day. You have
yeah,
to you develop a process where you may do your record keeping one day. Well, for me, that's the least the responsibility that I like to do. So I put it
mhm,
off until I can't put it off anymore.
yeah.
But that is a challenge. That could be a challenge for us.
Well, another question I wanted to ask is what advice would you give to women who want to start their own business but feel hesitant?
The first advice that I would give, and the most important advice, is don't quit your day job. Do
Yeah,
not quit
yeah,
your day job.
yeah,
Now, specifically, I'm in the authorship business. Specifically, if you aspire to write and be an author, become an author, um, it's not going to happen overnight. Or
yeah,
even just in any other sort of proprietorship or business entrepreneurship, because it takes statistically anywhere from 3 to 5 years to realize any type of real significant monetary value if that's what's going to happen in your business. So
yeah.
you're not going, it's not a get rich quick scheme
Right.
to have your, unless you hit the lottery or you have a rich relative or you run into some money somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the average Janice and Jane Doe
Yeah. Yeah.
and Robin,
Right.
we have to fake it until we make it.
Yeah.
So my strongest advice would be to not quit your day job, have some stream or multiple stream of income
Yeah.
coming in that you know you can count on, so that you
Yeah.
can pay your bills, you can pay your mortgage or your rent. This is all very
That's
important.
real
Life
stuff.
is real. Yes, it's
Mhm.
real. And when you can't pay your bills because you say, oh, you took away, oh, I'm just going to quit and la-di-da and try to be an author. It's not going to work. Okay.
No.
Do not quit your day job. The
Yeah.
second one, very, very important, is that I would give advice to aspiring entrepreneurial women would be to focus on yourself, self-care every single day. And that includes three things. Focus on your physical, your mental, and your spiritual self.
Yeah.
Prioritize those three because that enables you to become a healthy human being. You
Yeah.
cannot be unhealthy and run a business.
Right. Right.
So that's
Right.
extremely important too. And I'm saying every day, don't skip
Yeah.
on that. Whether it's
Right.
your nutrition, your physical exercise, your meditation, take time to meditate every single day and
Yeah.
reflect on what it is that you want to do that particular day, that particular week, or whatever it is. Have a reflection time period. I do that every single day, whether it's lying in the bed before I get up or when I get into bed at
Mhm.
night. Either way, I'm going to do that. So those are
Yeah.
two good things that I would say to aspiring entrepreneurial women.
I think both of those are great advice, especially that self-care. Because we tend to take care of everybody else, but we
Yes,
forget to take care of ourselves or don't give
absolutely.
ourselves the attention that they need, or that we need, I should say.
Yes,
So I agree with that for sure. And all three of those are important. Your mental, your physical, and your spiritual. Those are definitely, because those are I think the keys really to happiness,
absolutely.
when you practice that every day, because it is a mind game. You got
Yes,
to keep your positive thinking, especially when you're building a business, because you're
absolutely.
going to have the
Absolutely.
highs and lows, and
Yes.
you need that to keep you grounded.
Absolutely. Pretty
Yeah.
much the key to life in general is
Yeah.
to practice those three things. That pretty much sums it up for all of us because
Yeah.
they're all interdependent upon each other. You,
Yeah.
you, you can't have the physical without the mental and the spiritual. So
Right.
that's why I say all three are just as important. There's no prioritization here. They're
Yeah.
all as
Exactly.
important to make you a whole and a
Yeah.
healthy human being so you can
I
run your business.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
Yes.
So now that you're an author, as you mentioned, so you authored a couple of books. Black
Yes.
Folks Here Revisit. I like that one. And the children's book Just as It Is, and you have it in English and Spanish. So can
Yes.
you share what inspired these works?
I would love to. Let me just show this book. This is the Black Folks Hair book. This is the first book that I authored with my ex-husband back in the 90s.
Oh
But
my
the
goodness.
information in this book is just as relevant today as it was back in the 90s, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So that book, we wrote this book to inspire
Yeah.
and encourage. Yes, there it is there. To inspire and encourage specific all women, but specifically Black women, to love the natural texture of their hair. We also talk about why Black women began to straighten their hair. There's
Oh,
different reasons why, and it has a very significant historical context as to why we all started this, and it has permeated, and it still continues today.
it does.
I
It
don't
does.
knock people who straighten their hair, but I think people should be educated as to why and what some of the hangups and the self-esteem issues that come along with that. Because there are
Yes.
some self-esteem issues. So Black Folks Hair Revisited is like the third edition of that of this particular
Okay.
topic. And that's what it talks about. So we wanted to inspire women, and we did. We did that many years ago. Let your natural hair shine. Let your crowning glory, your God-given crown shine because it
Absolutely.
can.
Absolutely.
Yes. So that's the first book that I authored and co-wrote actually with my
Okay.
ex-husband.
And I definitely love this book because it's so true. There's a stigma
Mhm.
associated with our hair. And for
Yes.
some reason, we do everything we can to negate that. We just, whether, and like you said, you don't want to knock anybody.
No.
Everybody has free will, free choice, but you want to understand why. You know,
Exactly. And
why am I? Hmm.
and even more importantly than the why is also health considerations.
Yes, that too.
For women who use lye to straighten their hair for 5, 6 months. I don't even remember how long it lasts. It's been
Yeah.
so long since I've done it. But there have been studies that show, and we talk about that in this book, where women, and there's lawsuits now,
Yes.
where women who use relaxers in their hair on a consistent basis develop health issues. Some have even gotten ovarian cancer. There's some type of brain situation that can go on. You look it up. I'm not making this
Yeah.
stuff up.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So there's health considerations, self-esteem considerations, but I'm not here to preach. I'm here to educate and, just inspire people. So that's what that book is about. And it's also on my website as well.
Okay. So your second book we want to
Yes.
talk a little bit about is Just As It Is.
Yes.
So tell us what, yes, inspired you to do that. Mm-hmm.
That is my baby. That's my baby. And what inspired me to author this book alone, Just As It Is, actually, I wrote this book 25 years ago.
Wow.
Yes. And I forgot I wrote it. But I'll talk about that in a second. The impetus, the reason I wrote Just As It Is was we had just come off a high from riding Black folks' hair. And I was teaching high school. Robin, you remember I used to teach high school.
Yes, I remember being one of your students. Yes.
Absolutely. I was teaching high school, and one of my high school students said, she said, and I quote, "I hate my hair. I think black hair is a curse." And when she said that, I was just mortified. I had just written a book, co-wrote a book, encouraging women to aspire to love your hair and what you can do with your hair to make it look beautiful, and so you can feel like a beautiful person.
Right.
And she hated her hair. Yes, it struck me. It struck me real deep. So I went home that day and I said to my husband at the time, I said, I'm going to write a children's book, because that young lady was 16, 17 years old.
Okay.
I started thinking, in order to love yourself, in order to practice self-love, this has to start in the home environment at a very early age. Children have to be taught, encouraged, inspired, role model, motivated to love themselves, to love their hair, their complexions, their body type through their parents. Their parents are their first teachers.
Yes.
So that comes from the home environment. And that's when I decided that day, I'm going to write a book to encourage parents to teach their children to love themselves, but not only to love themselves, but also to respect the differences in people who look different from you.
Yes.
Very important. Very important, because I'm hoping, my hope is that will cut down on bullying kids, children, bullying others because their hair is straight, or their hair is this, or their body is not as like the other person's body. That cuts down on bullying. So it's a two-part message with Just As It Is. So that's the title. Real quickly, the backstory is I wrote it. Life got in the way. We built a house up in another state, and it got all jumbled up. When my ex-husband and I separated and divorced, we sold the house in one day. We had to get out. He found it in the attic amongst his stuff. He found the manuscript for Just As It Is. And he called me and said, "You finished that book?" I said, "No way. Life got in. I didn't finish that." He said, "Yes, you did. You have to publish this book. The message is great." And that was 4 years ago.
Wow.
So that's when Just As It Is became a thing in my mind.
Awesome. I'm glad he found it. That's awesome.
I'm glad. And I said it was divine intervention.
Yes.
that I found it. And so it is my passion and my purpose to spread this message everywhere I can to parents to encourage all adults to teach children at a very early age to love themselves. And so that also inspired. I don't know if you have a picture of that, Robin, the Spanish version.
No, I don't. I don't have a picture.
I can show that one.
Okay.
Yeah, that inspired me to write, to translate the English version into a Spanish edition.
That is so cute.
This is through inclusivity. I want to include all children in this phenomenon of loving yourself.
Yes.
All children. So that's why I wrote it in Spanish, so that if there's anyone that has an English, or even in foreign countries, the book goes in foreign countries, Spanish. I already have it in Costa Rica already. I already sent it to my Costa Rican contact. and they speak Spanish, but they also
No.
speak English as well. So
Yes,
I'm,
yes.
I'm working on contacts now to get this book international
Right.
to get this message across.
That is exciting. That is so exciting. Now, you have some nice little additions to this book. So you
Yes,
have the Abena doll and you have the puzzle you created.
yes.
Now, what
This
do they represent and how have people responded to it?
Okay, the Abena doll has her natural hair. That was by design. Everything is intentional. Now she
Huh?
looks really light because I have the lighting on, but her complexion is more like a mocha type complexion. But I'm
Right.
under a light right now. But
That's
she
okay.
is in the image of Abena, the main character of Just As It Is.
Right.
And this doll I refer to as a self companion, self love companion doll.
Okay.
People go, even adults, when I have this on display at my table,
Yeah.
basically adult, I have had grown women stop and say, oh, that's such a cute doll. I want that doll, let alone children. Boys, so they love the doll. It's a plush doll. It has no
Nice.
bones.
I love
You can
it.
take the
Yeah.
jacket off. I know kids love to take jackets off of clothes. I had two girls myself, and they like to take the jackets off of dolls. I know that. So, and I
Redress them.
wanted her to have her natural hair.
Yeah.
So, and I also, the other reason I designed this doll to go with the Just As It Is book is because when my children were growing up, it was very difficult to find black dolls.
Okay.
And people want to see themselves represented. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
human nature. And it was
Yeah.
very difficult to find dolls. And if you did, they just looked tore up. I just
Yeah.
some of them, they weren't designed properly. They didn't look right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I thought, how cool would it be to design a book and to design a doll to go with a book in the image of the main character. So I thought that would be something. And I did get that idea. I'm not going to say I came up with this on my own. I got that idea from a talk show I saw maybe a year prior to that, to designing this doll and writing the book or publishing the book. I saw a show where a woman had a book, and it was about an animal, and she had a plush animal as part of part of her presentation, and I thought that was cool. And then I said, well, maybe I'll do a doll.
Well,
But
that's
then on
yeah.
top of that, I went a step further. I love the illustration, the family, and the coloring on the
Yes.
cover. I decided to do a puzzle, a 48-piece
I
puzzle.
thought that was the cutest thing.
Yes,
Yes. I
yes,
love it.
in the image of the cover, and this is appropriate for children from the ages of 4 to 10. And I thought this would be cool for a couple of reasons. Maybe the boy wouldn't want a doll,
Right.
and he would want a puzzle, or a girl can get the puzzle too. It doesn't matter,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's an option. And
Yeah.
and also it helps children with the dexterity and mobility of their hands,
Yeah.
and it's a project. It gives them something to do.
Yeah.
And the other thing I use it for, sometimes when I go do my book signings or when I do presentations in schools or at different places, I'll raffle off these items. So I'll raffle off a
That's a
puzzle,
good
or
idea.
I'll raffle off a doll. So if a boy gets the raffle and he doesn't want a doll, or I've had the boy get the doll for his sister, or he
Okay.
may get it for himself
Oh.
if he want a raffle. But then the second choice would be if he wants a puzzle. So it
Yeah.
just gives them options. That's all.
Yeah. I think those are some great ideas.
Thank you.
And the children will really it'll attract them because yes,
Yes,
they know the story, but they're gonna remember even more, maybe creating their own stories, right? With the doll, you know?
absolutely.
And then of
Absolutely.
course using their mind and when it comes to the puzzle, which is great for dexterity and just remembering. That's good. I think that was
Yes.
some
Yes.
great compliments to the book. So
Well,
how
thank
are
you very
people
much.
responding to these two items?
People are responding pretty well. Of course, I'm in business, so I would love a lot more of a bigger response.
Of
But
course.
when I display my table, it's an eye catcher. People love the doll, they love the puzzle, they love the idea of a puzzle, and people do buy the puzzle and they do buy the doll. But of course, sales can always be good. That's how
Yeah.
business works.
Right. Because it's
But
still a business. It's still a
yes,
business.
but I do get some real positive feedback from the I call it the Just As It Is collection. I don't know if I
Okay.
can call it that, but I do.
Yeah, absolutely. You call it whatever
Yeah,
you want. It's your
it's
business.
a collection. Yeah. And so there is great response to all of the items, which I'm very very happy about. It's just that, I just need to get the word out more because it is a
Yeah.
business, of
Well,
course.
I've seen you won a couple of awards. So I feel like
Yes,
the word is getting out there. Tell us
that's
about some
right.
of the awards you were recognized with.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm so happy. I'm glad you mentioned that too. I almost forgot. How could I forget? I almost forgot about that. Yes, just as it is, has really it won its third award about 2 weeks ago, the day before my birthday. My birthday's August 8th, August 7th. I
Uh-huh.
saw it in spam. It went the email went to my spam, and I was going to delete it. And I realized, oh, this is real. And I did want a third award. These seals. Trying to hold it
Yes.
right.
Yes.
This represents one award and this represents another award. Now I'm going to get another seal to put on. So there'll be 3 seals. So
Oh,
that to me, the fact that I'm getting 3 awards from 3 different entities tells
yes.
me I must be doing something right. I'm
You're
on the
making
right
an
track.
impact. You're making an impact.
I'm making
Yes.
an impact. Absolutely. And that's exactly what I want to do. It's not the money for me. It
Mhm.
is the idea. It's the message.
Yes.
It's the
Yes.
message that I want children, parents. I keep saying parents, but I mean all adults who do,
Yeah.
because children are everywhere. So
Right.
everybody comes in contact with children.
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
want grown people to, pass this message on to children so that hopefully, I know it's a small step to making this a better world. It's a
Yeah.
small step to making it a better place to
Yes.
live in.
Yes. Yes. But that's what it takes, though. Everybody making a step,
That's
right?
true.
And
Yes.
then when everybody makes a step, it just creates, momentum, you know?
Yes. Yes.
So yes,
Absolutely.
oh great. So that kind of ties into our next question. Really, you kind of covered it, how your creation's tying to your mission and
Yes.
empowering others, women and children. So that really, what you just said, tied into
Yes.
that and covered that question, which is pretty awesome. Well, let's kind of move a little bit into how your career has helped you in this journey mentoring others. So, how important do you think mentorship is for women owned businesses?
Well, I think mentoring is very important because in most cases we learn what we learn when we watch other people or
Mhm.
we listen and observe other people. That's how we learn. Whether we're observing a success or a failure, because the word failure to me is relative, does not necessarily mean you fail if you learn something from it. So I
Yes,
think by seeing others doing, something similar to what you want to do, by being a mentor, I think it helps and it motivates other people to say, well, if she did it, I can do it, or if he
yes,
did it, I can do it. And so that is why I think it's very important, because I think mentorship is just a great way to show people that it can be done, because people are so apprehensive. As an educator, I know that people are afraid of change.
oh,
When you
yes.
see when someone is mentoring you that is a change, because usually entrepreneurs are change agents. To be a
Mhm.
change agent, you have to take a risk. You
Yeah,
have to be a risk taker.
right.
And so I think being a mentor or a person that you can model after is a risk taker, a change agent. And these are good things that people can learn from.
Yes,
So mentorship is extremely important to motivate people to do whatever it is that they want to do.
I agree. I agree. Because when you're that person that encourages them, that sets the model, that
Hmm.
even sets the tone or set the bar, it gives something people to reach for. And I
Absolutely.
think that's important to inspire people. And being a mentor really just kind of grabs hold of their hand and pulls them
Hmm.
right along. And I think that's a great way to really support and help other women to
For
know that,
sure.
you can do it too. So, what do you hope your legacy will be through both your professional career and your business?
Okay, I got my cheat note here because I want to make sure I get this right. Because I want to make sure I get this right. I think my legacy will be to leave an impact on this earth
Mm,
that I really care. And I
okay.
want to repeat that I myself really care, and that I cared, CARED, enough about
Mhm.
humanity
Ah,
to try to make a difference through
yes.
my work to inspire others to feel good about themselves and to feel good about others. Sounds
Mhm.
like something small, but in my brain, that's something big. I think we
Yes.
all should think like that.
Yes.
So that is the legacy that I want to leave. that this was a woman who really cared about humanity and people getting along with other people. I think it's
Yeah.
so important. Maybe
Yeah.
this world will not be in such a
A mess.
state it's in. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Yes. I agree. I agree with that because it's something as simple as treating others the way you want to be treated.
yes.
As simple as that is, it's very powerful.
It can make
So
a difference.
imagine if we just care. If we just
Care.
care, you know?
It can make such a big difference in one, two, three, four people's lives. I mean, it can make such a difference. The one last thing I want to say too about that is, as an educator, I think one of the reasons that I was so successful, I spent 42 years as an educator and a school administrator, is that, and people would tell me, I didn't make this up. People would tell me this: you act like you can, not act like, you show us that you care. You
Mm,
cared about us.
yes.
That warms my heart when I hear someone
Yes.
say that, because I do. I
Yeah.
really do care. And
Yeah.
when you're genuinely caring, people notice that. I want that to be my legacy.
Yes. 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 And you know what? It feels genuine and it's real, you
Yes.
know, and people want to be they want to know that you notice them, that you know that they're here.
Yes.
People sometimes get looked over, kicked
Yes.
upon, and just, discarded. But people just want to know, hey, do you care how I feel? Do you care that I exist? You
Mm-hmm.
know?
I
And we can do
absolutely.
that in so many different ways. And it could be like a chain reaction. One person shows they care, the next person, and it just, like you said, it leaves a legacy.
You're
So I
absolutely right.
appreciate that. I definitely do.
Thank you.
So, Janice, your story is truly inspiring. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
sharing your journey and wisdom with us today. And for everyone that's watching, you can connect with Janice. You'll see her website right there on the screen. Definitely visit her website. Be sure to check out her books, the Abena Doll, and all of the amazing resources she created. And remember Janice's motto: the more we learn, the less we fear. So join us
Absolutely.
next time on Her Business, Her Story as we continue to spotlight more incredible women-owned business. Thank you again. It was an honor.
Thank you, Robin. I really appreciate you giving me this platform to talk about my work.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Take care.
You too.